Hello there, and then welcome to a brand new video. This is Hub Beyond Numbers, where we learn maths the easy way. Now, in this playlist and this video being the first of this playlist, we are looking at variables and equations. And for this first one, we are looking at how to translate word problems into mathematical equations. By the end of it, you'll be able to translate mathematical problems, real world problems into equations. Now, why do we even want to learn this? There are so many real world problems in money, time, measurement, and what have you that can be solved using mathematical procedures, right? But if you have it in the word form, you first need to turn these words into equations, right? Using unknown variables so that you can be able to solve, right? So there are two things you would need to know. First of all, is the variable and then equation. So what is a variable? The variable is just let me see, an alphabet you use to represent an unknown. It can be any symbol at all, right? Then the equation here, it shows the relationship between quantities. It shows the relationship between quantities. Okay, so to do this, I've laid out some three basic steps we need to follow. The first one is you need to identify the unknown. So there's a general problem mathematically what has to do with time or measurement or whatever, maybe money. There is something you don't know. So you'd need to represent it with a variable. That is what we call the unknown. And that can be any letter at all. Now, after you do that representation, you then come down and then translate the word into mathematical equation. And in this translation process, there are some key terms that you really need to know. Some of which I'll be illustrating here. So whenever you are translating words into mathematical statement, and then you see the word sum. So you see sum or total or combined. All these mean the same thing, and they all mean addition. They all mean what? Addition. What of subtraction? So anytime you see the words difference or left, difference or left, these two mean what? Subtraction. Now, if you see the words times or product, the mathematical operation that represents is what? Multiplication. Now, what of division? So anytime you see divided by, you see that is so obvious. Divided by or pair. Divided by or pair. It simply means division. Now, there are more to these basic operations. Whenever I see more than can also mean addition. And less than can also mean what? Subtraction. And then finally, when you see S or equals, that is obvious what it means. That is an equal to sign over there. All right. So after identifying your known and then translating your word into the mathematical form, you now solve the equation. See, so we solve the equation. But for this lesson, we are just going to change the word problems into the mathematical forms. So let's look at some few examples here. Okay, so to apply what we have just learned, this question here says, Kofi bought 3 pencils for 12 cedis. Kofi bought 3 pencils for 12 cedis. How much does one pencil cost? So the first step is to do what? Identify the unknown. You see, so we say that let x be what? You can, instead of x, you can use any variable at all. Since it's pencil, I'll just say let p be price of a pencil. So price per pencil. Now with that, they said he bought 3 of those. So 3 of the pencils. and the cost was what? 12 cedis. This here is the basic equation. This is the equation you need to solve this problem. And as you can see, it is very, very direct, straightforward, and then very simple. You see? Yes. So this is how we convert word problems into equations to help us solve for unknowns. We wouldn't be solving in this video, but in our subsequent ones, we look at all the method of solving what? Equations. There are so many. We'll look at them one after the other. Now, let's take a look at this second question here. It says the sum of two numbers is 15. Initially, we said sum means addition. One number is 3 more than the other. One of the numbers is 3 more than the other. We have to find the numbers. So what we do is there are two things we are looking for here, the first number and then the second number. But this statement here gives us the relationship between one of the numbers and the other. You see? So we say let's say let one of the numbers be any variable at all. So let one of the numbers be what? N. And it says one number is 3 more than. So if one of the number is n, then the other is going to be what? N plus 3. This is 3 more than. If you say more than, if I have 3 mangoes more than you, it means if you have 1 mango, then I have 4 mangoes. If you have 5 mangoes, then I have what? 8 mangoes. Hence, if you have n mangoes, I have n plus 3 mangoes. In this case, we are talking of numbers. Now, we are being told that the sum of these two numbers is 15. The sum of these two numbers is 15. So we've introduced our unknown. We now want our equation. Sum means addition. The sum of this number and this number is 15. And that is n, that is our first number, plus the second one, n plus 3 is equal to what? 15. This here is our equation that we are going to need to solve. Right? Very, very simple and then straightforward. Now, I would like us to solve this very last one. This one has to do with perimeter. So it says a rectangle's length is twice its width. The perimeter is 30 centimeters and we have to find the width. Some of these word problems, you need pre-knowledge of certain concepts. This, for instance, needs you to know what a rectangle is and then what we mean by perimeter. So this here is a rectangle, right? And when we talk of the perimeter, we simply means the total distance when we go around this plane figure. That is what we mean by perimeter. And for that matter, this here is going to be its width, and this is going to be our length. So the formula for a perimeter, so if this is our width and then this is also our width, that is, and this is also our length, right? We say the rectangle length is twice its width. The length of the rectangle is twice its width. So this simply means that this length over here, it is actually 2 times of the width. You see, this length over here, it is 2 times of the width. Now the perimeter is 30 centimeters. So we know the perimeter of a rectangle is what? The total distance. So that is this width plus this here, which is L, but then it's actually 2W from this statement over here, twice the width. So 2W, then plus this W here, plus this 2W over here. Moreover, we already know this perimeter. That is 30 centimeters is equal to W plus 2W plus W plus 2W. That gives us a 6W. You see? And with this, we have a very simple equation we can solve to get our width. So that is basically how we do what? We change word problems into what? Their mathematical equivalents. Now, it is always good you don't ignore the keywords. You see, so whenever you hear of more, less, and all that, you need to know what they mean. I'll write out some questions you can try on your own. So you have these, you can try your hands on. They are just 3 questions, just to test your understanding. I do hope this video was helpful. Stay blessed. Then bye.